to see what we have shared here. Who is not able to see what we have just shared? There's something which I've shared there. Okay. So, okay, we continue from where we were yesterday. This one, we had some issues yesterday. David is saying not visible. Okay. You can be able to see that. Okay, that's okay. So if we have any other issue, you let me know. So I was saying that yesterday, because we had some issues with this one, but we were showing something here, a few functions which I showed you. One of them was product. The other one was on count if, which means counting on a given condition. And this is how we said you should write it in this way. Yes, and also we did sum on a condition, this one. Here, for example, this is just an example of what we did. Maybe we want to get how much we are paying out to those who are working for more than 200 hours, for example. This is the hours worked. And then it will get the total, cumulative total in that case. So also we have other functions. I also showed you the function of average. So where it is very simple on how you do the average. Then there's also another thing which I showed you yesterday on the conditional formatting, this one. So let me remove some condition which I had put yesterday. So I will just highlight and then I will go to conditional formatting. I will clear the rules from the entire sheet, even if I will say from the selected one in that case. So we said this one, you can make some conditions, but this is predefined conditions in this case. So in case, for example, you want greater than, like yesterday we did for greater than. So in this highlight, which are or in that range, you can give some condition. If I use, for example, less than, I can just click less than. I say, for example, I want to check all those who worked 180 hours and below. That's a condition. So I can say maybe less than 200 hours, for example. And then I can just highlight the way I want, like that. So I have an option. I can even make it custom the way I want, but that's a rule. I can also add another rule on the very same range. So I can just come here. I say, for example, I want uh, those who are between, for example, or who are between maybe 201. Let me use even that. And for example, let me say 500. Also, I can use a different color option for that one. Maybe I put, for example, green, and then I put like that. So here I have like two I have used like two rules which I've just added there. So it depends on how you want. So you can have as many rules as you wish. And then at the end, you can have even a key somewhere. You have like a key, and then you represent. If you are highlighting, you can have that color and then say this color represents those who are greater than or those who are between this and this, depending on the condition which you have put uh, on that range. Also, uh, we have, let me just drag this one down because I added some two records, this one, like that. Also here, I can even drag downwards like this. So then we have another thing, apart from those ones which I've shown you. Even this conditional formatting, we have so many. So this one you need only to select the one which you want, and then you can be able. Uh, apart from Rosat Onyango, who is the other one who is also struggling to see what we are doing, because I feel like it is visible. From my end, is showing it is visible to all. So all others, you are able to view that. How can we help you with that? Maybe, I don't know. Uh, Many of you are able to see. Maybe you check from your side. Uh, yes, you check from your side because from my side, I see it is visible. I always, sometimes I can be able to know when it is not visible on your side. So I was saying, kindly try. You can uh, just move out and then join again. You see if it can solve the problem. Uh, we have also the other thing. So I was saying this conditional formatting, we have other options. Sometimes you can use even this gradient field. So you can come here, for example, let me remove uh, these ones which I had put, and then I use the gradient field. So I will go here, and then I would say clear those rules from the selected, and then I will remain with the highlight, which is the same, and I will now use the data bar, this one. So this one. So if this one now they apply like a gradient option. So if I select, for example, like this, but this one now, you see it is different from the other one. It only it does like in an automatic kind of. So it's like like a battery bar in that case. So the one which is highest, it will be filled up. The one which is not highest, like that, like it is in form of levels. So with this one, you don't have an option of, for example, putting a condition. It just puts bars and it uses the numbers in that case. Then you can also have what you call color scales. Also, you can have the color scales. For example, if I choose this one, it can show me this is the color scale of this one. So, like for example, it is filled the red, the remaining is green. So this is just the color scale. So sometimes you might want to use that option in terms of the way you format. Also, you can use what you call icons. Sometimes you can apply these icons. Sometimes you have icons like this. So if you click this one, it will be able to have like this. So you have an option of using the icons. So you have an option of using icon sets. So it's you to select. Sometimes you find this one more. more appealing, so you use it, and then it makes your data to appear so good in that case. So we name this one as conditional formatting. It makes these things so easy in terms of how you are working. Then, uh, apart from these ones, so I said under insert, this one, you can insert the table, the picture, all this you can insert. But I want to show you one thing here, uh, how to add the charts. So the chart, you always get it from the data which you have. So assume I want a chart, like for example, I want a column chart, this one. So first, what you do, you click where you want to put your column or your chart in that case. Sometimes it can be even on a new sheet. For example, you can even say you want it on this sheet. So an easier option can be you just draw it on the same sheet where you have the data, or you can do what I'm just trying to show here. So I will click this new sheet, and then I will click at the top here, I will say I want a chart. So immediately this one comes, at the top here, you'll be able to see what we call select data. So when I click this one, then while it is open, I will click the, 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 the sheet which I want. And then assume I want the engineer names and yes, the hours worked, or let me use engineer's name and the salary. So these are the engineers up to here. So when I want to select the one which is not next to each other, then I will press Control key on the keyboard, and then I will hold it. Just you press and hold, and then I will go to the other column like that. Then I release when I'm done. So while it is like this, I can switch to just check. It takes me to the how it is drawing. I can switch to get it in the best way. So this is the way I want it. So I will just select OK. Because I only selected one, one column which has the data to draw. And this is the salary. So down here, this one here, this is, uh, I can even do the labeling. I can click here, and then I will click axis title. Then you just click, for example, here. So, and then you can say this is salary, like this. And then down here, you just click, and then you say, this is engineers or engineer names. This is engineer names, like this. Then you are done. If you want a regent, sometimes you don't have one like column like this. You have maybe more than that. I'm going to show you in a short while. So you can have what you call a legend. You can activate the legend. This one is saying this is the salary in that case. And then I can have even the data table. It can show me the table which I've bought the data from in that case, and then it will just display. So I want to uncheck the table, but I want to click here on the chart, and then I go to what you call select data again, this one. So I want to include now something again. So I want to include rate per hour, hours worked, and the salary. So I will just highlight all of them like this, and then I can say okay. So if it is like this, it appears this is not what you want. You can click at the top here, switch to check. Yes. So this is, it gives you the hours worked, rate per hour, and the bars in that case. So if you feel you don't need this rate per hour because now it is bringing, but the legend here, it adds in that case. So it tells you uh, this is who and who, and this is how uh, you are comparing them in that case. So sometimes you need to show the values here. So you can click and then you can just click and then you can come here. You see data labels. So if I select that and I click data labels, I can even select this and I say data labels. It will show me the data values for each of those bars, because others are so small to an extent you are not able to see the values because it uses a specific scale uh, for it to be able. So I'm having like that. So sometimes also you can change this chart. For example, if you want to change the chart type, you can just select at the top there, and then you can go, for example, I want a line. So I will go here and I will say I want a line graph, and then that's how the line will be. So don't worry about how it appears. This is according to the data which you have. So it will always appear based on the data which you have. You can change the styles at the top here, the appearance. So we have different styles at the top here on how you can change uh, these ones. So it depends on how you want it. So if you want it like this, if you feel this is how you want it, then you can just click and then you are good to go. So this one, we have just drawn it on a new sheet in that case. But that's how you draw that one. There's one which uh, you can even change. Let me go there. You can even switch this chart to even what you call a bar. I can even have a bar, but I can't change it direct if to a pie chart. So I can have a bar like this. But if I want a pie chart doesn't take many arguments. So I will just click, assume I want to draw it here. I will just click where I want here, and then I will go to insert. Then I will look for pie chart, this one. So let me use even the 3D option. Then here, assume I want to have a comparison of the engineers and the hours which were worked. So I will select this one, select the data, and then I will go to engineers, engineer names, and then press Control, or I can highlight the two because they are just next to each other like that. And then I will just check how it appears. This is maybe how I want it. So like this, if I want values inside here, I will just click and then right click. Then I will say add data labels like that. I will be able to show that. At the same time, I can right click. I say format data labels. I will click on format data labels. Then it should open something. Yes, I expected it to open something. So let me click again, right click, format data labels. There's something which is not opening because sometimes I want to show uh, what you call percentage and all that. So it is showing me that, but unfortunately I don't see, I don't want the data series. There's some pop-up which is not opening, uh, which is so helpful in that case. But you can change always. You just click and then right click format. So when it will open something, although here it's giving me just highlighting, it's not giving me what I want in. So there is a small window which it's not opening. So if it could have opened, it could have shown you where you select. I can even go ahead and show a series name here. I show percentage in a direct way without even having, yes, I show it direct without changing anything here in a shorter way. So this is how you can draw this one, including other options which you can right click, and then you can have, there's some pop-up which is not opening. I know it's because maybe I'm sharing, that's why it's limiting that, I don't know. But when you do this selection, you right click format data series, format, I click inside, and then I say format data labels, it should open something. So although it's not opening, but for you it will open. So there are more options which it has really hidden and not opening. So, but that's how you draw what we call pie chart. This is how you draw a pie chart. Although a pie chart, if I want to convert it or to change, I can't change it to, I can only, actually you can change it to either a column or a bar or line, but when you have a line which has like 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, more than 3 columns or 2 columns, then it becomes a little bit hard. Actually, it will not be able to show here. It won't be able to show here in this case. Just one moment. Yes, like that. So apart from drawing these ones, we also have other functionalities because I told you working with Excel, it has so many functions which you need to work with in this uh, perspective. So let me show you another thing. So there is what we call, for example, I can create what we call a list. I can create a drop-down list of, let me create a drop-down list, and then we use it to do something. So assume uh, I want to create a drop-down list from here of these engineer names. So we have an option here for data at the top here. For data here, we have several functionalities, but one which I want us to use is this data here. So I can click on this data validation, this one. Then, but first, you click where you want to have that list. For example, I can say, for example, select engineer, for example. I'm just giving, uh, for example, like this. And then just ahead of it here, I have a drop down. So I click here and then I go to data and then I click on data validation. Then you click on that data validation. The first one here, I can create what you call a list. So I can come here, I click on list, and then it will ask me uh, the list which I want to create, how, which is the range of that list. So I will click here, or you just click here, and then you go to, you select your range. So I will say, I want to create a list from here, and then you press enter. So when I say okay here it has now the drop down of those engineers. In that case, I can even move this one. So I can move here like this. So this one, I can say, for example, you can put it, let me have maybe that color. And then here, you have that drop down of selecting. So this is how you can create a simple like drop down or a select from that. The other thing which you can do here, uh, I'm going to that data, and then there is something to do here with still validation. I can click here, uh, but first let me have a range. Let me highlight, for example, let me have that range like this. Assume you want to restrict the entry, what you enter here. For now, the way it is, the way it is, if I change this one, I can even write anything. I can write, for example, 900, for example. So sometimes you don't want somebody to just edit what you have. Then what you do is this one. You just highlight the range where you want the restriction to be, like this one. Then you go to the data here, validation. Then here you can select a whole number. You say, I want to have a whole number on that like range in that case. So I will click here, a whole number. Then it will ask me something. You want it between or, but you can give the condition which you want from here. We have several conditions. Let me use first between. I say, for example, I want somebody to enter a value, the number of hours worked, I want them to be between, for example, to be between maybe 100. So which means you don't expect somebody to work less than 100. And then maximum, maybe you say it's 1,000. Let me use 1,000, for example. Then uh, you can put some message here. If, for example, that rule is violated, for example. But first, you put a guiding message here. You can say input uh, value between 100 and 1,000, like this. And then here, or let me say, I put this one. I don't want to write so much. Let me take this one to be the message. And then here, I say maybe this is alert, for example. Then, in case somebody has put against the rule, then you can have a message. This message, you can have it like this. You can, this one changes. So it depends on what you want. So if you want it to show a stop kind of, then here you say uh, error, for example, and say error, invalid, can say invalid value, invalid value. So if I say like this and I say okay, then immediately when I put my cursor here, it will be always telling me input a value between 100 and 1,000. Let's violate this rule. We want to violate and see what happens. Let me put, for example, 0, and I try to go to the next nini. So what it will do, it will pop up a message. It will say invalid value. You try again. So until you enter the correct value, that's when it will accept. So you will retry again, it will give you, say for example, negative, for example, it will not accept, it will say invalid value. So this is how you restrict. Let's check if it takes the maximum size. So let me say, for example, 1,200, for example, like this. So it will also say invalid value. But let's put a value, a different value, which is between. We see if it's working. Let's put, for example, 600. So you see, it accepts. And this one, we have done it on this range. It's within this range in that case. So uh, this is but how you can use this one. Uh, so you can use it in an advanced way to create those kind of rules. Then we can also do something. I want to add something here. Yes, let me add some column here. So I will come at the top here and right click and then insert. So it will be able to add for me. Let's say, for example, I have regions where they come from, county, for example. Let me say this is Nairobi. Nairobi, this is maybe Mombasa. Let me say this is Nairobi, Nairobi. This is maybe Kisumu. And let me say, for example, this is Mombasa. Just using uh, that example, like that. When you have a set of this one, also we have some other function which you see at the top here, which is known as subtotal function. This one. For example, I want to get a summary of the totals in regard to the counties uh, where these engineers are coming from. When we are using this data, for us, we are using a data which is so small. But in a real case, you will have data which is so huge in that case. So I can come here. So what I will do is this one. This one now, you can highlight the whole range here and say, I want something here. So I will highlight this one. I don't want the remarks. I only want maybe up to salary like that. Then I will go to what you call subtotal, this one. Then under the subtotal, this one, we can have options on how we want to do the subtotal. So here, I want it to change. You see here it is saying at each change in, so I don't want to use names. I want to use county because that one, okay. The way I've done it this way, it might not work correctly. So what I will do, I will cancel first, and then you come here, you sort your data under that column in a given order. So you sort it, you highlight, then you right click, then you go to sorting. I can sort, then I will say just continue with the selection. Then it's able to sort this one. I just sorted in that order, but you can sort in your own way, the way you want in that case. Then I will just highlight now this one. If you see here, it has arranged in terms of in alphabetical order. So I will just highlight it and then I will go to subtotal again. Then I will say here I will use the count. Then I will say I want subtotal, maybe for the salary. Maybe I'm interested with the salary, which we are maybe paying out in that case. So I want the sum. It gives me the total, but you can have count, you can have average, you can have max, all these functions, but not all of them. It gives you a number of them in that case. So let's use sum. Then I will click OK. So immediately I click OK, there's something which you see happens here. It will tell me, like for example, Kisumu, we have only one. Then it will give me Kisumu. This is the total for Kisumu. we paid this. For Mombasa, we paid this one. So it is the addition of this and this. For Nairobi, we paid this one. This is the total we paid. And then the grand total now, it gives how much, like the whole total in that case for all of them. So this is how it works. This is how it works. So uh, in case you want to do maybe a subtotal, that's how you can perform a subtotal in that case. So Excel has so much, only that we are lacking time, but that's just but a few of what you're supposed to know. But for you now, you are supposed to know what, for example, this insert, what does it contain and how to perform. Like, for example, if I want to do, to put some maybe function, how do I perform that one? So you need like also to know that. So because of time and because we have a lot to cover, and this is the last day, I ask that we can proceed with other discussion unless somebody has a question. But I can assure you we have not covered even half of what Excel has. Excel has a lot of like what you're supposed to cover in terms of even the functions themselves. So let's take like 5 minutes. We switch to something else, just a moment. Uh, Only 5 minutes, kindly. So around 7:15, we resume back. So welcome back. Let's continue with our discussion. Uh, when I was introducing this our unit, there's something which you have been mentioning uh, about the issue to do with cybersecurity, and even we gave a definition of what cybersecurity is. We said cybersecurity is just an area which is aimed at like making us to know how we should protect ourselves while we are online in that case. And then I said this one can be very expansive. So it is not something which, like for example, you mention one thing and then you are done. It covers so many things in that case. And I even mentioned like we have people who are specializing in issues to do with cybersecurity as a course. And then they pursue that one, and then they are specialists in terms of cybersecurity. Now, uh, we were not to learn cybersecurity if we were not to have what you call cyber threats. So we have what you call a lot of threats, which comes um, uh, while we are online in that case. So, and that's why from one side, we need to learn how we should protect ourselves. And from the other side, we are also required to know like what are these threats which we need to protect ourselves from. So we have so many threats which can range from simple ones to even major ones, which be, like are major issues in that case. So uh, the simple one are those ones which even your computer can be able to handle. Like for example, issue to do with some simple viruses, for example. So your computer, if you have an antivirus, it means it can be able to detect uh, a particular virus. Maybe you have just plugged in a USB, maybe flash disk, and then it will always detect. There is what we call utility programs. These utility programs, uh, they are softwares which are very specific on what to perform. So we have some specific ones, for example, which you install on your machine, and then they can be able to monitor uh, your ports, your computer ports in that case. So if somebody inserts maybe a flash disk, which is infected with um, a virus is a program which misconfigures how your computer functions. So it tends to change the behavior of how your computer really works. And out of those viruses, they might appear simple, but out of those viruses, it can result to what you call a machine which is very slow in terms of the performance. So sometimes if your machine is so slow, one thing can be maybe there is an infection of a virus in that case. Some viruses, they don't reveal themselves, like even antiviruses don't detect so fast because they work at the background, but they are so risky in that case. They work at the background and then within time, they are able to infect your major files, system files. So which makes your machine like to behave. Actually, where the major component which usually it targets, it is the memory. So it tends to consume almost all your memory. And this one will render your machine like performance to be so slow. So uh, sometimes uh, when you have this issue, you might need to run what you call a scan so that you check. And even with those scans, sometimes you are not able to detect where the problem is. So these threats, we can have those ones which are major ones. And I can tell you, if there's an area which companies are really investing so much, including even the government, it is what we call cybersecurity. Now, the other part of protecting the systems, because we have critical systems, we don't want them to be infected. Because if we have a hacker is somebody who infects or just sends some program to your machine, and then the aim is to break or have access to your machine without your authorization in that case. So it is somebody who is sitting somewhere, uses some softwares, and then manipulates the way your machine works, and then gains access to your machine. So I want you to look at it from the side of the critical, like uh, machines. We have what you call servers in that case. Those critical server machines where this hacker has just hacked, because when you hack, you have so many reasons to hack. One can be just rendering the systems uh, to be down, just like that. I'm just happy when uh, company A is reporting like they are not able, the clients are not able to access emails, the clients are not able to do this. I'm just happy with that. So that's a hacker from that side. The other reason can be this person wants to steal. And this is the threat which we are talking about. So we can have what we call internal security threats. Uh, and these always, they take the form of what we call phishing attacks. Uh, Phishing attacks or careless like decision making, or when you have what you call weak passwords. So just internal. Internal means within just an organization, within your local area network in that case. So they always originate from within the network in that case. So you can have what you call, when this happens, it can result to what you call data loss. And even when the systems are down, the company will record what you call loss in revenue. And even customers, like they will be discouraged to work in such organizations in that case. So because you are not safe to work in that area, because you feel like you are at risk, your data is at risk. Then we have some other complex ones like distributed, like distributed denial of service, a DDoS attack. Now, these ones, what they do is this one. Somebody, you always have, the origin of these ones is from websites. So when you are accessing some websites and then you see some pop-ups, you see something which is so enticing, some pop-up, and then you click it, and then it tries like it is redirecting you, and then it closes down. So in the process, you will be redirected to what we call uh, these DDoS like kind of attacks. So they originate either from emails or from these clicks which we make on the websites. So, so the cyber criminals, they infect what you call those internet connected devices. They can include computers, mobile phones, all those. And there's something which we said, I think yesterday or last week, we said like nowadays, most of the devices which we use are online, most of them. So hackers, like, they have so many options. They are looking for those ones which are not protected, and then they gain access. So hackers can send what we call bots to victims' IP address. Now, a bot is just a simple software, a simple program. Although when we talk about bots, we have those bots which are essential. Like, for example, when we talk of e-commerce works on what you call bots. So when you click, there is a particular program which records or tracks how you are interested in. You can even be able to testify this one. If I go to Google and I search, I initiate a search. Maybe I want to buy a particular model of maybe a phone or maybe a TV in that case. So I type, I want search and search. I give the name and I press enter. So it will always search. And then I visit one of the websites which Google has provided, for example. Then now the bot takes over from there. So it tracks. It is able to know that yesterday you searched this and this. So it works. It can be used in a positive way, but hackers tend to use this one in a negative way. So these bots, what they do when they are used in a negative way, uh, because in a positive way they are used in marketing, which means you will always get advertisements which are related to what you were searching previously. So it tends to assume like that's what you are interested in, and most of the time maybe actually that's what you are interested in. Both are good, but now a hacker can use this one to track you now in this case. So can use a bot and then it is installed without your knowledge to your machine. And this bot now can be able to track which websites do you usually go to. And then it is pre-configured to always be very keen when you are maybe, for example, if it's a bank, if you have a bank account, because nowadays we have what we call online banking. So I can bank even when I have a laptop, I can access when I have a mobile phone, a smartphone, I can access my bank account in a direct way. So they, they, they actually they are triggered when you access those sensitive kind of websites, financial websites. So they are able to track and they are able to know, even they take what you call the keystroke, what we call keyloggers. Actually, they include what we call some keyloggers, some programs which we refer to them as keyloggers. So these ones, they they check how you are typing on your keyboard. They listen and then they are able to translate and send to a hacker somewhere, which is decrypted in a decrypted form. So if you typed I, it will be able to tell the hacker that you typed I. So it transfers all that to the hacker in that case. So one thing you need to be aware, for a DDoS attack to be successful, it doesn't happen just in one day. It keeps track of what you are doing and then it installs itself. Then uh, it tends not to be active all of a sudden, but with time, it takes maybe one day and then it takes control of your machine. All of a sudden, you find your machine, you cannot be able to open some document, uh, it misconfigures everything, and then for a DDoS, now it tells you maybe you need to do, there is another attack which you are going to see, which is known as a ransomware attack, where now they say we have encrypted all your files. all we need is you pay this amount so that we decrypt for you in that case. I want you to take that scenario and imagine that you are maybe uh, an admin somewhere. You are an IT admin somewhere, and then this one happens to one of your major servers. It will be the difficult thing, which you never want to have. So usually what you are encouraged, you put preventive measures. That's why you need to know what you call cybersecurity, how to protect yourself in that case. You don't wait until uh, that attack is successful uh, for you to protect yourself. So you need to put measures first to prevent, but if it happens, again, you should have a way out. How do you recover from that kind of attack? Also, we have what we call rogue security software. So these are software which tricks businesses into believing that their IT infrastructure is not operational due to a virus. And this one now, it appears as a warning message. I think this one you usually encounter this one. You are using your mobile phone, you have accessed some website, and then all of a sudden a pop-up message comes, a warning tells you you have this number of viruses. Click here to clean. So in so doing, this software now installs the virus itself in your phone. You think you are cleaning, that's when you are bringing a lot of problems. So we can have those what you call, yes, we can have what you call those kind of uh, let me share that. One of you has said it's not a moment. So let's continue. So I was saying we can have those what you call rogue software or security software. And these softwares, what they do, they always like trick. They will always trick, uh, be it business people or even individuals, even believing that they have a problem while they don't have that problem. And that's why if you are in charge of a given company, then you need to do what you call like trainings to the staff. So you need to ensure the staff is well trained so that you also tell them like you don't need to click any other link which you see. So apart from like limiting what they are able, and that's why in major organizations you will always find they are limiting so much on which websites you can be able to access. But they cannot limit like everything in that case. So you need like to educate them and even train them so that they are aware how to stay safe. Because some of these problems, an employee out of not knowing can bring a big issue to an organization. We have what we call malwares. These are malicious softwares in that case. And these malicious softwares can include what we call worms. We have rootkits, Trojan viruses, spyware. All these are dangerous. All these are dangerous because they always weaken your system in a given way. Like for example, worms, they always exploit some weaknesses in your computer systems. And then what they do, they spread to other devices. So you can find, uh, and that's why organizations, they don't encourage, like for example, if you have your own laptop and then you plug in to an internet of the internal organization, they will always restrict. That's just a precautionary measure. they will always restrict which devices are supposed to plug in. So those those like connections, immediately it detects like it's a new machine, then it is set to block the connection immediately. So you will not be able to access. But if you have a company where you have given that like flexibility, like somebody can come with a personal laptop and then they can be able to use the network, you'll be you'll be messed up and you will not know, or it will take so long for you to identify that it is somebody who committed that kind of. Sometimes they are not even aware. So those crimes, actually, they are not criminals because they are not even aware, like even they are performing or they are allowing these worms to come in. So when this one comes, it can originate from that particular machine, and then it spreads so fast to the whole network, very fast. So you need to be very careful. Also, we have what you call rootkits, which grants unauthorized access to systems in form of fraudulent access privilege without the victim's knowledge, which means uh, you are just a victim. For example, you have a bank account. Somebody can be given your access without your knowledge. Even the bank is not aware. They are just using this kind of software. But for them to be successful, they will always use what you call spyware, spying softwares. So which they spy on you, they correct some specific information, and then they send it very fast. We talked about there's a difference between that and the information. Uh, I will not repeat that, but what I'm saying is a spyware will always be interested with some specific kind of information. If it is a special passwords and usernames, so it will be interested with the password. What is the username? And then all of a sudden, you find your account was hacked. Even you yourself, you will not even know where it originated from, the problem. So you need to be very careful. Uh, apart from, you need, apart from setting your passwords to be very strong, which we talked about, don't make them so weak, make them very strong. We also have what you call Trojan viruses. This one sleeps under networks radar and they hijack on other software and provides what you call hackers with, yes, unprecedented access to systems. All this malicious software, all these malicious kind of threats which we are listing here, all of them they aim with one, to give the hacker access to some specific like information. So you need to be very careful to protect your system. So you'll be asked, for example, how do you protect yourself? We are going to see how you can protect yourself now. But you need to know, if you don't protect yourself, your computer protection begins from the computer. Then you go to the network. For companies, they need to protect the network. And that's where we have the issue to do with firewalls and all those which are able to protect the network. Then we have this one which I've just mentioned a while ago, the one which we refer to as ransomware. So a ransomware, uh, it comes from the word ransom. So this is an attack where the hacker takes control of your machine and then demands for some payment in exchange for the data. So they take the data and then now they say, if you want us to give you the access, in fact, they take control of your whole machine. you cannot be able to do anything. You can only open the link which they have given you. It's only on the desktop. It will just show if you want like your data back, click on this link and pay this amount to this account. And then they tell you you pay in terms of Bitcoins. They don't accept the normal money in that case. So it means you need to convert all that you have to Bitcoins and then you send to them. So which can be so hectic. So you need to protect yourself. Very few machines you can be able to recover from this kind of attack. Very few. Most of the time, you can even pay that money and then they don't give you your access. They will still restrict the access. So you need to be very careful in terms of how, uh, and we said this ransomware, it originates from the links, the clicks which you click on the links, and then the email. Somebody has shared an email which has some virus link, and then you click on it. So at the end, you will always find like you have installed a ransomware without your knowledge. Also, we have what we call phishing attacks. So phishing attacks, these are scams where these hackers, they always disguise themselves as those people who are trusted or even a trusted entity. And by so doing, they will try to gain access to networks and even steal what we call personal information. So they target issue to do with security, the credit card details, and uh, it can take the form of what we call emails, text messages, or even phone calls. Nowadays, these phishing attacks, they happen so much. You find somebody, um, and we have even what you call identity theft. So they mix with this one in making it successful. So you find somebody has access, say for example, to your WhatsApp account, and then now behaves as if it is you now. Because I know you, we always communicate. Then now you initiate some message uh, which has some urgency. The message has a lot of urgency. Just a moment, please. Sorry for that. Let's continue. So I was saying, these kind of phishing attacks, they always combine. Uh, Actually, they happen so much uh, with, for example, WhatsApp. Somebody takes control of your account, and then because now I know you, they will be able to send some messages. These messages which appear so urgent, like for example, I'm in the hospital, kindly, I'm less this amount, kindly help me, I will sort you out. And then you think like this was the real person which you are talking to. So you know later that it was not this person. So as a precaution, when somebody, a message comes which has a lot of urgency, and you should always suspect that, which deals with money, then sometimes even it comes from somebody whom you have even not borrowed money from. So it comes like an abrupt one. So it takes the form of like, I'm in a mess, kindly help me. So you need to like call that person. You call the person to confirm before you can send the money. So when they realize, for example, you are asking them, because they don't use voice call, when they realize like you are asking so much, they will they will leave you, they will go to others whom like they are able uh, to, 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 to scam in that case. Also, we can have what you call viruses. So these viruses, we have just even talked about them. They are mostly they are attached to even the files which you download. Sometimes maybe you have a file which you are looking for. It can be even it's a document which you want to read, and then you click the link. When you want to download, it doesn't download anything. So in the process, it installs a virus. So also these viruses, you can get them from websites. Also, you can get them from other machines. They can be transferred from one machine to another using what we call uh, these portable devices like a flash disk. So, but you need to know how to safeguard yourself. So you can safeguard yourself first. If it is your computer, make sure you back up your data and even files. Yesterday we were talking about online collaboration tools. Those tools which can help you. Like for example, we talked about Google Drive, and then we talked about Dropbox. So those tools, you can use them to back up your data, such that in case there's a successful attack to your machine or even a virus, you can format the machine, which means you can clear all the data and then you begin afresh. Because it's not a guarantee that you will work 100% without your machine not getting a virus or even you not being attacked in any way. So backing up, this is also an option for even uh, those organizations, for even companies. You should be able to work and make sure, like, uh, you back up the data. If you are in an organization and you are in charge of IT, and then you find yourself you don't have a backup option, you are at risk. You are only waiting for a crisis, and it will be so tough. So you need to have a plan. Make sure you have a backup option. So in case this one happens, you are able to get your data. Also, invest in what you call comprehensive cybersecurity awareness and even training. This one I've just talked about it. Don't ignore the part of training. Companies, they should always train their employees uh, on how they should behave or even how they should act while they are online in that case. Also, promote a work environment which values application security and safe practices. Don't ignore the part of security in that case. Companies are investing so much. Companies are using a lot of money to buy uh, up-to-date softwares which can be able to detect uh, a problem and be able even to block the access very fast. So those are the kind of software, although they are expensive, but you need like to have them in that case. Like here in Kenya, you will hear like I will not be part of a given company because they have weak systems. My data maybe will be lost. You see that? So which means when you have strong systems, people will always want like to be with you in that case. They will ensure because you will ensure their security. Also, install what you call anti-malware solutions, such as next generation firewalls in that case. So you need to have those firewalls. And I talked about this one when I just mentioned the levels of security. It is the computer level, it is the network level, and other levels which you can be able to explore in that case. Also, restrict access to your network security uh, and also control for what we call authorized personnel only. Yes, you should always uh, enable what you call authorization. So don't just allow anybody to have access to the data in that case. So make sure uh, you have uh, make sure you have the correct like group which you want them to have the access. Also, upgrade devices and secure your endpoints with multi-factor authentication and even strong passwords. Yes, it is one thing having those devices, and it is the other thing having them updated to the latest versions. In that case, don't have older versions. Always ensure you have what we call like up to date, up to date, like uh, or updated devices. In that case, if it's a router, have like a new version of the router. Don't have an old generation router in that case because those are more like susceptible. They can be hacked so easily. The other thing which we need to understand are these threats actually are the ones which we are continuing with. So when we talk about a threat, we are saying it includes the malware, the phishing, and even the denial of service, which we have talked about. And these computer crimes can include identity theft, fraud, financial or card payment theft, talk about corporate data theft, uh, talk about extortion, where you are demanding money to prevent a threatened attack in that case, and then the ransomware. So we have talked about them in a more broader way. But we have what you call measures to prevent this. How do you prevent these ones? How do you prevent these ones? So these ones, uh, so you need to prevent this one by one, using what we call strong passwords. This one we mentioned. Ensure you set strong passwords. Some applications, they limit you. Like they say you cannot set a password which is not less than 8 characters. And these characters should be a mixture. You have a number, you have a special character, you have a capital letter, you have a small letter. you mix them. So one thing is, the longer your password is, the strong it is. The shorter it is, then it means even breaking it, we have softwares which can break your passwords and they can be able to tell this is the actual password in that case. So you should be able like to use what you call strong passwords. Always, always make sure like you don't use your date of birth in setting your passwords. When you use that one, then that's a wrong kind of practice. Make it as unique as possible. Let it not include your name. Even if you include it, then you should include just a digit of your name or even a character of your name, but make it wrong. Also, we have multi-factor authentication. These ones, if you realize nowadays, let me use an example of Gmail. And even most applications nowadays are using this option. They are using this option in this way. Uh, Nowadays, if you have a smartphone and they detect like you logged in using a smartphone, and this is very true because if you check on uh, the mobile penetration, uh, the mobile penetration, it is like too much. In that case, we have so many people who are having uh, these like kind of uh, devices or gadgets. So we are saying nowadays, even these applications, they have introduced like you don't use your username and passwords alone. Then we add another factor. So when you are logging in, if it's a new device, it will send a notification, a pop-up on your phone. So we assume that you are more direct to your phone than even the password and even the uh, yes, the password in that case. So your phone can identify you more strong. So it comes on that particular kind of gadget, a mobile device. And then when you accept it, that's when the login will be successful. So that's what an added layer of security. So, and I think it's a better one because sometimes if you use only username and password, somebody can be able to get that one. But if I add the option of sending a code to your mobile phone, then it means now I have identified you in a stronger way. So that one, ensure if you are a developer, then ensure you add that one. Also, we have what you call software updates. This one we have talked about it, that even if it's a device or even a software, make sure you have updated softwares. Also have antivirus and even anti-malware softwares, and also have what you call secure file sharing. So yesterday we looked at a few like online collaboration tools which are providing what you call secure file sharing options. Um, and also be cautious of what you call phishing scams. Be very cautious. So don't open suspicious emails or even links from what you call unknown sources. So especially when you see uh, somebody who is not on your address kind of book, in that case, don't be very fast to open that link. It might be that is one of your problems. So don't be quick to open these auto-generated emails. emails which come from individuals whom you don't know. So be very careful not uh, to have that. Control the access, which means make sure you limit access to data and services to authorized users. So there is what you call authorization in that case. Also educate users. We have talked about training in that case. Risk management, assess the risks to your organization systems and even information. There's what you call auditing. Although system audit, sometimes we take it from the side of even how they are performing, but also when it is conducted in full, it also checks if your systems are weak. So we have an expert who is able to determine that your system is weak somewhere. I like this way which these major organizations use. When they want to employ somebody to protect their systems, they will always uh, have an interview which is so practical. So you are asked, uh, can you be able to hack to our systems? So the one who is able to hack to our systems will be employed in that case. So by so doing, you will always get like good people, good technology people who can be able, if this person is able to break to your system, then it means they can be able to protect that system because they know how they broke to that system. So, and that's how these, like when we talk about security, even interviews are done. It's so practical in that case. So, we need to do what we call assessment of the systems. We need to ensure they are able uh, to protect according to how we want them to be in that case. Of course, we have some Kenyan laws which tries to protect and even tries to make sure like we are protected in a way. But these laws, most of the time, you find uh, they don't like enact them, but to some extent, yes, they enact these laws, but they are there to protect when you were against. So if we were to be so good and so ethical, then it means we were not to have these laws in place. So, but in case you were against some data protection act laws, then it means you'll be prosecuted in that case. But there's something which we mentioned yesterday. These people are very clever. Uh, they can use some specific softwares, and these softwares can protect the systems. Even they can hide. They usually hide themselves. To an extent, it becomes so difficult, even uh, knowing that they did this and this kind of an act. But if you go to Facebook and then you post something, that one is so easy. You will be caught so fast because at some point you are using your mobile phone. Uh, you are using your mobile phone, and then this one will always expose you so fast. I told you yesterday, most of these criminals, they don't use mobile phones. They only use it on a computer, and then now locating them, it becomes so difficult because they have some special softwares which can hide. For 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 maybe a mobile phone, maybe some brands which can protect you, some specific brands which are very few and very expensive in the market. So which have that protection level. But most of them, we are so much exposed. So you don't like commit any crime and then you feel like you not be caught. you can be caught. There is the other part of what you call online job platforms. So we are only basing our argument or our discussion to those ones which are existing here in Kenya. So these are just platforms which can help you to find a job. They can help you to find some open position, uh, open vacancy for a given like kind of job. So we have one uh, which we refer to as Fuzu. This is an online. So there are a number of them. But one thing you need to know is they only link you to uh, a given website where you can be able to find the job openings in that case. So we have this Fuzu is one of them. So you can be able to access the website and then you can be able to check, but it gives you like the options in terms of the jobs, which position, which company, uh, and such like information in that case. I want us to take a small break of around again 5 minutes only, just 5 minutes. So around 8:15, we resume back. We continue with this discussion as even we look at how we finish. So just 5 minutes. So we continue with our discussion. Let me reshare what we were discussing. Yes, so I was saying, uh, one of this online like platform, uh, job seeking platform is Fuzu, this one, and this one it helps you to hunt for a given job. You can even subscribe, uh, yes, on their website, and you are able uh, to get notifications. You are able to get notifications. So the other one is what you call LinkedIn. It has been in the market for quite a while. So these ones I'm just doing in a summary because you can always, if you want, for example, always they vary. Sometimes you can be subscribed to a number of them, which means you can be subscribed to LinkedIn, you can be subscribed to Fuzu, and then you will always get notifications. They will always provide notifications on the job openings in that case. We have Career Point Kenya, is also another platform. Uh, we have Kenyan Career, it's also another platform. So we have a number of them. We have CareerJet, it's also a platform which advertises job opportunities in Kenya. Remember, we are just basing only those ones which are like providing these in Kenya. So you realize most of the jobs nowadays, you might not even be able to know where there's a job opening unless you have like a connection with somebody who knows in that case. But most of the companies, they will always use these kind of platforms, and then uh, you will be able to be notified of a job opening. We have the Star Kenya. This is also another platform. We have Carry Jobs. It also advertises job opportunities in that case. So the issue here is you can have all of them. There are just a number of them here. Uh, you need like to have an account with them. So when you subscribe, then you'll have an account with them uh, where they will add you to what you call email address uh, list in that case, and then you'll be able uh, to be receiving those notifications. So you can try out one, or you can even provide the information to somebody who can just try one, and then others have just reported like they got their jobs through this kind of like notifications. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work in that case. Then we have what we call online account and profile management. So this one, it refers to that process of creating and even maintaining, controlling. So we have you create, you maintain, and even control what you call user accounts and their associated personal information. So, and this one is done across various online platforms. They can include issues to do with managing logins or login credentials, personal details, settings, preferences, and even allowing users to customize their experience, at the same time ensuring that data security and even privacy across different services. Let me just give an example, just a small example. When you create an account with, for example, Gmail, uh, they will give you an option like you can even customize how you want a theme for your email appearance to be. You can even have, we have just talked about, you can even activate the like authentication. You see that? That one you do it from what you call the settings. So we have, when you have that account, then it means you can even manage. It is the one which manages issue to do with the logins in that case. So for example, if they realize there's some behavior somewhere, somebody is trying to guess your password, they will always notify you to make strong your password or to change it. And even when you are creating this account, they will always discourage using your name as one of the passwords. You see, that's the part of how they are trying to manage that account. So when we are talking about this online account and even profile management, it refers to that process. Now, where you create, you maintain, and even control what you call user accounts. Also, we have what you call key aspects of what you call online accounts and even profile management. One is user registration. We have what you call user registration. So this one refers to creating a new account, and this is by providing what you call necessary personal information like email, password, and sometimes you can have some additional information. So it always begins by taking your data in that case. And this one now reminds me, if you are a developer, always an application begins by collecting some information. So if you are, for example, developing an application which is registering and even or assume it is uh, a management, for example, school management or college management software in that case or a system. So you will always begin by getting the details of the students, those necessary ones, and actually you take everything. Then that's the part of user registration. So it can also include creating those accounts. Also, we have what you call login and even authentication. So this is the part where now it includes verifying the user identity through what you call credentials. And these credentials can include the username and the password. And also we have talked about when now you have activated the issue to do with the mold like authentication, then it means it will have, for example, it will have to ask, you enter, for example, it gives uh, some numbers of your mobile phone, and then it gives some maybe three spaces, then you fill the number, it checks if it is the right number. That's when you are resetting the password. So if you don't enter the correct as they match, then it means it will not allow you to reset. Although this it is done as part of registration. During the registration, it will take your phone number and then you will have to authenticate, which means confirm the phone number. So if it's not authenticated, then it means it cannot be added as part of uh, the options for uh, login in that case. Also, there's a part of, we are talking about the key steps or aspects. There's the other aspect of profile editing. So this is the one which allows users to update their personal information. I want you to think from when you have created, for example, an account, an email account, it has asked you for some details, you have logged in. Now when you are in, it creates for you a profile. So this profile, or even when you use any other system, when you log in successfully, it creates for you your own profile. So this profile, you can be able to edit. So it allows you as a user to update your personal information. This information is what you enter. or some others which the system categorized as not important, but you can update them now. It can include, for example, you didn't upload your passport image, then you can now upload. So you can make it like you can customize it the way you want. That's editing in that case. Also, there is what you call preference settings. Now, this is now customizing the user experience by adjusting settings like language, notification, preferences, privacy options, and even the theme. So we always have this kind of, like for example, for email, this the part where is specific for a theme. So where under settings, you'll see where it has theme, and then you can be able to change the themes which are available or to your own in that case. Also, we have data management, which includes storing, managing user data securely, and ensuring compliance with privacy regulations. So data management is a big issue. So we have, like the government has its own regulations. If you have a company and you are collecting uh, user data in that case, so you are bound by law that you are supposed to make sure the data is safe. That's the first thing. And then you are supposed to make sure that the data cannot be, of course, safe means cannot be accessed by an authorized person, cannot be refilled in that case. And also, uh, if there is the issue to do with storage, then you are required to store it for a given period of time, after which you can delete. So if I was a member, for example, I was working in your company and I've ceased to be a member, you don't delete my information like so fast because maybe I might need to come and even do some reference or to refer some, maybe some other government agencies that I was working here and here. So for them to confirm, they will always come to the organization and then they use the system. So you are required by law that you don't delete this data up to at least 5 years in that case. So that's when you can be able to delete. But the ones which you are active with, you should make sure they are safe in that case. So the issue to do is storing and even managing, make sure it is safe and ensure that you are compliant to all uh, regulations. Also, we have the issue to do with access control. So you need to implement measures which restricts unauthorized access uh, to user accounts, which can include password policies, policies what we have just mentioned when we talked about strong passwords. Like for example, you say the policy will be a password cannot be less than 8 characters. That's a policy which you have, and then it will always have a mixture. So you are the one to come up with those kind of like control access control policies, which limits what we call unauthorized user accounts. So benefits of effective online account and even uh, management, it can offer that as a benefit in that case. Also, we have improved user experience. Um, uh, when you do what we call personalized settings and easy access to relevant information uh, on individual preferences, so uh, this one, it provides an improved user experience, which means users will feel so good if they are able to perform some of those actions on their own, and then they are able to change their to their preferred ones. Also, the issue to do with enhanced security uh, is also a benefit. So protecting sensitive user data through strong authentication, it's a benefit which comes with what you call online account and even profile management. There's also a benefit of data analysis and even insights. Uh, yes, so utilizing user profile data to understand customer behavior and marketing campaigns. Yes, most of the companies, they depend on the data which you provide when you are creating that profile, your own profile. And then now they will use this one to direct their bots to be able to customize marketing options, which comes either to your email or what or their where you have used that account. If you have used it on Facebook, you'll always see some marketing like advertisements which are like tailored for you specifically. So this works hand in hand with what we refer to as bots. Also, we have what we call social media platforms, which manage the profile that we have, like Facebook, which we have just mentioned, Twitter. All of us are members of some of these social media platforms. So you might not be in all of them, but you'll always find yourself you are active in one or two in that case. Also, there's something which we talked about, online banking. Uh, so this is accessing your bank account through what you call secure login and even managing personal details like address and contact information. So, but we said there's always you need to have a precaution with this one because if you don't have a precaution to this, then it means you can fall a victim of what we call cyber threats, e-commerce websites. So this is the issue to do with creating shopping account. Maybe you buy online, it will always create for you an account. And then among other details, you will always be getting some advertisement options from such a company. We have what you call job application letter. So this one, under your course, we are required to know how we write what you call an official letter. So this is what we refer to as a job application letter. But I know maybe this one we already know, but let's know for the purposes of the structure on what to include. Uh, so these are the steps which you need to take because it is official letter. It's not like a friendly letter in that case. So remember, you are writing a letter uh, for a job application. So here we assume, uh, for example, you are a member of Fuzu, the one which we talked about is an online platform, or any other, the Star. We have talked about the Star. We have talked about my job, uh, Kenya, for example, Career Point. We talked about it. So we are saying now they have given you the information. They have told you this and this position is open in this and this company. Now, you need to go ahead and write what you call a job application letter. So how to write it? One, do some research. So you research that company and even the job opening. So you need to know which company is this and what kind of job is this. Always when you get this like notification from either Career Point Kenya, they will tell you these are the requirements uh, which you are supposed to have, and this is everything to do with your job. This is how much they will pay, and these are the benefits which you are eligible for in that case. So now you go ahead, you research about that, you do more research, uh, and then after you, so this research can include uh, the company you are applying to and the specifications of the open position, which means you know more in that case, but they will always be provided by that alert if you are part of that. Also, the more you know about that job, the better you can customize your application letter. So you need to know more about the job. So if it meets your qualifications in that case, because that job and your qualifications should always match. Also, look at the recent awards the company has received. This is just getting more information about the company's culture, the size of the company, how big it is. So also that one can give you more information. The other one, the other thing which you need to do is you use a professional format in writing your your letter. We are going just to see, these are just steps. Below here, we are going to see the format which you can use. And then we have the other one, state the position which you are applying for, and then explain why you are the best for that job, summarize your qualifications, mention why you want the job, and include what you call professional closing. So the template which you can use includes this one. You can just use, this is just one of them. I'm not saying that we don't have others, but this one can be one of them. So where you include your name, and then you have your address, then you include the date, and then if you have the manager's name, that's okay, but usually use sir or madam in that case, and then the company name, the address, and then uh, you give all that detail. So you state in a correct way. But one thing you need to know is you make it as short as possible because it is professional. You need to make it as short as possible. You go straight. You hit like your qualifications uh, in a summative way. Then we have also a resume. Sometimes we use the term, but they are not the same. The CV in that case. So one is detailed and the other one is not detailed. Just a moment, let me reshare. Yes, so one, the CV and uh, curriculum vitae, they differ in terms of one is short, the other one is like long in that case. So that's the major difference with this one. So, but a resume is typically used for most job applications uh, in the United States. So it's just a summary of your work experience. But when we talk about a CV, it's more detailed. Like, I don't know if you remember, sometimes I think, I don't know if it was the previous election or the other one, where one was actually presented a CV of more than 90 pages. Uh, it was a long one in that case. But when he was asked, he said, I've qualified that much. So what we are saying is this, the CV is longer. It always carries much details, but the other one is just uh, a short version of that. So a resume is usually 1 or 2 pages long, while a CV can be quite long, depending on the individual experience. Also, the other difference, apart from the difference of the rank, we can also have a difference in terms of the focus. So a resume, uh, it tends to focus on what you call relevant and experiences for a specific job. But a CV tends to provide what you call a comprehensive overview of the entire academic and professional career. So which means you can tailor make your resume, you summarize it, you don't give all the details, but it depends. Some companies they ask for a CV, others they ask for a resume in that case. So which means you need to be aware when they are using those terms. So you provide as per how they have asked. So when do you want to use? So sometimes you do when you have those most applications, some CV like a research role or a faculty application, uh, then you use what you call a CV. But both the CV and the resume, they always represent your experiences and even skills uh, used in an application process to get you an interview. So you will always mention something during on your application letter, something small that you have attached here, a CV or a resume in that case. Okay, we have some comparison here, but we are not going to that because already we have known the difference, the major one. Now, how do you write this CV? So the following are the areas which you need like to include. One is the contact information. So you need to include the contact information where you state your name, your address, your telephone number, and even the email address. So you need to have that. Also, you need to have academic and professional qualifications. You need to include them. So you list your school qualification, college, certificate, and even university. So I understand that nowadays, with the help of the new technology or advancement of technology, even these CVs, you can even generate them online. You can just generate online and then it generates, you feed the information and then it gives you everything in that case. But this is what you need like to make sure it is captured because it's part of the information which you should provide even if you are generating it online. The job experience. Have you worked somewhere? Which position and which duties did you perform in your previous like job? Also, uh, it's something which has moved fast here. Yes, apart from providing that job experience, you also need to provide what you call additional skills. So any other skills which you have, like for example, if you speak, for example, 4 languages, if you list them, say I speak German, I speak French, I speak Swahili, I speak English, and any other language, even Chinese. You can say also I speak Chinese. So which means you you bring a lot of like options to whoever is employing you, which means if it's an international company, it means you can work in almost anywhere in the world with those kind of combination. Uh, Also, we have the hobbies, although this one is so optional, but you can include what you like doing apart from the professional kind of qualification. Also, you include the references, those people who can be contacted, and they should not be your relatives. They should be professional people uh, which you engaged with during your professional career in that case. So don't include the name of your parent, maybe, or of your friend, unless that friend you interacted in a professional way. So these are just small tips on how you can write a good CV. So use the same font, make it bold on headings, use bullets, which captures the attention of important points. Also highlight specific achievements, avoid errors in your writing, which means be grammatically correct and very clean, be very specific, use double spacing when you are writing, don't use a small spacing. Also quantify your achievements. Like for example, I've worked in this and this, 5 companies, this and this, like this. Also, you need to print your resume or your CV, uh, of course, using a printer of good quality in that with a good quality paper. So don't include your health status. This is what you should not include. Don't include, uh, if you have to have the date, keep it current. Also use acronyms. Don't use acronym and even jargon. Don't submit your political organization, legal membership. You say you are a member of this and this uh, political party. No, don't include that. Don't use a funny or controversial email address. Also, don't include salary history of your past jobs. And also do not exceed 3 to 5 bullets per section. So which means don't make it uh, so long. We have what you call portfolio of evidence. Portfolio of evidence. So a portfolio of evidence is just a collection of documents which tries or which demonstrates a person's skills and knowledge against a set of criteria. So it can be used for assessment, performance evaluation, or even demonstrate what you call progress. So with this portfolio of evidence, what should be included in this one is a collection of work which demonstrates what the runner has attained. And this one can apply uh, the knowledge, the skills in that competence framework. Now, what types of evidence which are required to demonstrate learning and even achievement? So, in line with the principles of this assessment, so learners and even their mentors, they need to consider whether the evidence provided is one, is valid. So that's part of the evidence, the validness. So validness, we mean an appropriate way of demonstrating your abilities to meet the needs of learning outcomes. Should be authentic, so has been produced by a learner only in that case, which means it should be your own work. And where you are submitting that evidence in the workplace, then it should be signed by the mentor as an accurate reflection of events in that case. It should also be current, so it should not be something which has been of the past. And also should be current, we mean it should be relevant at the time of the assessment. Uh, Sometimes people do what you call research work. Uh, when you are doing some course, you always do some project work, which includes research in this case. So you'll always be told that you need to be original, it should be your work. And then, according to the year which you are doing this one, should be very relevant to that. And also, it should be reliable, which means authentic description of events. Usually, if it's a project, you will be given, not really given, it's you to choose or to explore, depending on the course which you are doing, and then you do a research on that. So while it's not exhaustive, some examples of different types of evidence, they can include one, a short reflective account analyzing an experience in practice, which typically is around 251. So various frameworks are available to guide uh, in this reflective writing. So it is something which you write in those kind of words, and it should be very short like that, because 250 words are not so many. The other one, other evidence of self-assessment, such as self-testing using revision books or even questions, and the SWOT analysis, and even action plans in that case. So also we have evidence of feedback from others, such as witness statements, testimonials, or even letters from colleagues, in that case, who knows you in that case. And this one, they should be accompanied by information about what the learner did well. So sometimes it's like a form of recommendation in that case. So it's like a recommendation letter which recommends like so and so has worked here, we know this, and such kind of information. Now, we assume now you have applied for a job, you have written your CV, you have sent this. Now, maybe you have been shortlisted for some interview. Then you need to have some skills. You need to have some skills so that you don't do very well in writing the letter, do very well in having the CV, uh, and even portraying how strong you are. But now during the interview, and you fail. So we don't want, like, for example, you fail the interview while you are shortlisted in that case. So we want, like, you be the best, because it's an opportunity for you to showcase that indeed what you wrote, it is what you are in that case. So you need to do what you call self preparation. So you've been told the interview is next week on a such and such a date. Although some other interviews can come, like for example, abstract so fast in that case, but you need to be prepared. So uh, much of what we call successful interviewing, it has much to do with what you call being able to align your unique gifts and even qualifications with the position which you are applying for. So make sure you write down your personal and even professional strengths. And this one can just include your accomplishments, uh, which you are most proud of. So if you did something and you are proud of that, then that one should be like a motivation to you. So you need to be prepared well. You need to know those your major uh, like strong points. Also, uh, you need also to do what we call research. So what you call thorough research, you must do what you call a thorough research of the company which you want to work for. Because sometimes you don't want to go to the interview and then you don't understand the culture of the company. Most of this information you get it from their website. They will always have their own website. So you need to visit their website, you know their mission, their vision, so that it aligns so well with you. Sometimes if their vision is not so reasonable to you, then you can even cancel not attending that interview or even apply in the first case. So it begins when you show the interest. You need to do the research from that rate. So that's the research which we are talking about. So source everything or know everything uh, you can find online about the company, and even you write them down uh, on what might be like to work, what it might be like to work there. You just imagine and how you can even improve that company, because you will always have a question dealing from that perspective. Also, you must master your emotions. So uh, even with that thorough preparation, the experience, just a moment, please. Uh, Sorry for that. So we continue as we even try to finish. So I was talking about how you should master your emotions uh, when it comes to the interview, because you are preparing for that interview. So make sure, as part of your thorough preparation, uh, the experience of anticipating that job interview, it's always so stressful. Those who have been in that, they, they, they can even relate so much with that. So uh, you must master your emotions, and this one can help you to stay very calm during the interview process. So this one can help you focus on making the best decisions for your career. So which means don't panic, even as you wait for that. interview in that case. So you must make sure uh, always review your self preparation and even company research notes. You make yourself so when you know more, it will always help you uh, to build that confidence. Also, there is what you call logistical planning. So this for every interview, you will always want to arrange in details of experience. So from how you travel to the location, or sometimes if it is a Zoom meeting, uh, to even wearing what you wear. For example, if it's a physical kind of interview, it's not a Zoom meeting. So if it's physical, uh, you also need to know what to wear. So when you work on that, on your logistical plannings and even the skills, they will also help you so that you don't like qualify for the job and then you appear there like you have the best qualifications but you appear late uh, for the interview because it can be a disqualification. So make sure if you don't know the place, you make sure you take time before the interview day. You know where the place is, where the interview will be happening, and how you will get there. Take note of the timing. If they have told you it's 8, make sure you are there before that time because it can be part of interview question in that case. If you come late, then it means you have dropped a lot of marks. So also there is a part of communicating. So you need to be very effective. And I understand under the course which you are like doing, you have done the part of the course, actually the unit of communication skills. So you need to know how, or you need to have those effective communication skills. So you need to establish them and even be able to communicate in the right way. So always practice good communication in advance. So make sure your body language, you can even make a practice on your own. You are in front of a mirror and then you try, you assume like you are in a panel and then you see how you are performing in that case. So what we are referring here so much or what we are stressing, you need to have good communication skills. So this one can include verbal and even non-verbal. So you need to have them both in a good way. Also, introduce yourself. You must know how to introduce yourself because uh, the first question which you'll meet most of the time, tell me about yourself. Now, how do you introduce yourself from that point? So you need to make some practice on how you answer some of those questions. Down here, we have some sample questions and how you're supposed to answer them. But before we reach there, there is what you call you present your qualifications. So once the interview is in motion, this is now during the interview, you'll be likely be answering few behavioral and even situational interview questions. Uh, like questions which begin like tell me about a time when you solved a problem. So that's a question which you need like to have a way in which you need to answer, even if you don't have a specific time when you solved a given problem. So you can use that star. We are going to see it down here, how you can use that to answer the situation and even the task and even action. So this is what we are talking about, the star, situation, task, action, and even result. That's the star method. Uh, when I give you these notes, you'll be able to go through them uh, in a detailed way. So you can have a sample question. For example, this is a behavioral question. What do you do when you disagree with someone at work? Then it means you need to answer in a very specific way. So I've just provided just a simple way on how you can answer this one. So some questions can be again taking you back to how you manage your emotions, uh, even how you communicate, the verbal and the non-verbal. So you need to control yourself. You can have even behavioral questions. Describe a time when the requirements of a project changed in the middle of it. How did you handle the situation? So it is more of a practical. They are, they are subjecting you to something which they presume you worked on. So if you didn't work on, it means you struggle with that kind of question. So, and also there is the part of listening. You'll always have moments during the interview when the interviewer will do more of the talking. So this is particularly when they are trying to explain the position which you are applying for and even describe the goals and even initiatives and even answer any questions which you may have. So you should practice what you call active listening so that you can decide if the position is for you. So make an eye contact and even nod to signal that you understand the interview. So you can even write down the notes to capture the crux or the crux of what the interviewer is saying so that you can reflect on it after the conversation. So you need to, the issue here is you need to listen. So don't, uh, your mind should not be wavering away from the interviewer in that case. Also ask questions where necessary and follow up with your interviewer after the interview. Always reflect on your interview and refine your methods. So always these interviews, maybe you might go to one, you fail. Uh, you should be more better when you face the next one. So I'm not saying that you won't fail, but I'm saying in case you are not selected, then you should know where you went wrong so that you make it perfect in the next uh, kind of interview. So I'll stop there for our course. Uh, I will send these notes probably tomorrow uh, to Timothy because he shared uh, the email address, and then you will be able to get it from Timothy. Timothy will be able to share it on your WhatsApp group. So I think if we don't have a question, unless somebody has some question, then we can stop there and one can pray for us. I don't know who can pray for us if there's no question. Mary is the one who prayed for us when we began, so I expect somebody else. So who can pray for us?
Maybe teacher before we close.
Yes.
Will we be having a class on next week?
Not really. No.
So we are done with this?
We are done.
Okay.
Yes, we are done.
Thank you.
Catherine, then you can pray for us.
Okay, let me pray. Thank you for the session. We appreciate Mwalimu. Let us believe and pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening with thanksgiving in our hearts. We thank you for you have been with us from the time we started our class on the digital literacy. We thank you for the time that Mr. Commander has taken us through.